Hello, my name is Ainsley Malice, and today I will be walking you through my team building activity called bodybuilding. The objective of this activity is to construct a body with multiple parts, to define each part, and identify where each member of the team fits on the body. And when I'm saying construct a body, I literally mean that we're going to be taking good old-fashioned butcher paper, we're going to take a Sharpie, we're going to outline somebody and build an actual body. And then work with our team and collaborate and communicate in order to define the different parts of the body and then identify where we might fit on this model. So the target concepts of this activity are overall team cohesion from kind of a top-down level. So not only icebreaker, getting to know each other, but also evaluating overall who we are as a team, what we're standing for, what our strengths and weaknesses are. So this is going to take collaboration. The aspect of creating the model for the bodybuilding is going to take some problem solving. There's a lot of communication involved, maybe an identification of which leaders emerge during the kind of hands-on aspect of this activity. This is also going to focus on role identification, role clarity, and then, like I said before, identifying strengths and weaknesses personally as individuals, but also as the group collectively. This activity in total ranges from 30 to 45 minutes. It honestly depends on how much your group discusses. When I did it with my group, we took about 45 minutes to an hour just with the in-depth conversation and discussion. But this is an activity that can be done with a minimum of 3 people. And then I would say that it's recommended for probably ages 14 and up. Like, I think that you might want to be around freshman year of high school, 14, 15, to really, I think, buy into the ideas in this activity. The group that I decided to do this activity with was my FCA leadership team. So we integrated the aspects of the body with what we're doing with our teams, but also had a faith aspect to it. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to jump in and out of clips from the actual event. So you're going to hear me explaining some of them just in the video. And if I need to clarify, I'll come back in different pieces. But for the rest of this, I'm going to kind of give the flow of the activity because I think it's hard to explain on paper, but it makes a little bit more sense watching it all come together. So enjoy the rest of the video. We're going to talk first about phase 1. So phase 1 is building the body, and it's the construction of this outline that we're going to be working with for the rest of the team building activity. So today we're going to be doing a team building activity, not only to kind of get a little bit closer with one another, but also to evaluate kind of our strengths and weaknesses as a group. So today's activity is called bodybuilding. Yep. So the first step of this is that you guys are going to create a body together, okay? So I have butcher paper up here at the front. I got scissors, I've got markers, I've got tape, and then I've got parts of the body that need to be put on. So you guys have to decide, 1, who you're gonna trace. 2, you have to put all the butcher paper pieces together. So you gotta tape it, make it the right size. And then I need that body hung up right here before we move forward. And then there's about 8, 9 pieces, organs that need to be taped onto the body as well. So first step, we're all gonna get up, we're gonna move around, and we're gonna choose someone to trace, and then go from there, okay? Sound good? Beautiful. Okay, all the slides are up here.
Yeah. I don't want to have like one big one.
Okay.
I trust you.
I hate it.
Okay, well, you have to take this off.
Here we go.
I won't get your soul.
There's a Sharpie.
Get up in there! Get up in there!
Oh, Nike symbol too. Oh, hit it elbow, bro.
It's just like the brain.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We taping off the top.
We taping this?
We taping it?
It's our checklist.
Yes, ma'am.
A little lower, I think. Lexi's eyes are a little lower.
Well, we have abs too.
Oh, we do? We've
got abs.
Oh, somewhere everything down. What the?
You're stepping on Lexi. You're stepping on
That's his
Lexi.
bro.
Oh, no, her face is coming apart.
So you know what the ears.
So as you just saw in phase one, the group had to problem solve to get the body made. Some people, they had to figure out how long the paper had to be. They had to choose somebody to trace. They had to put all of the organs in the right space on the body. They had to tape it all up. And honestly, we had a lot of fun with this. I loved watching everybody interact. It worked as a nice icebreaker. And then now our body is set up and ready to go for the rest of our activity. And now we're going to flow into phase two.
You guys can take a seat. So now we've built our body, right? This is our little body. It's so fun, so sweet. The next step is what we're gonna do. Now that we've built the body, now we're gonna define the parts. Okay, so we're gonna describe, just like general, whether it's your knowledge of physiology, whether it's something that you think of with faith, like any version of like what these words kind of bring to mind, we're gonna define and describe what each part of the body, what comes to mind when you think about it, okay? So since we have 5 tables here, I'm gonna split these up. I'm gonna have you guys discuss in your groups what you think of those 3. I'm gonna assign them, and then I'll have you guys come up and write down those words, and then we'll move forward from there, okay? So at this front table, I'm gonna have you guys do brain, eyes, and nose, okay? Back table, I'm gonna have you guys do mouth, ears, and shoulders, okay? Middle table right here, I'm gonna have you guys do heart, lungs, and chest. And then Hetzi and Matt, you guys are gonna work together for core/abs and stomach.
It's
and
good.
Then my lovely ladies and Theo, you guys are gonna do arms, legs, hands, and feet. Okay? So everybody know their assignment. I'm gonna give you guys about 3 to 5 minutes. Come up with a couple of words for each one. No wrong answers, and then please come up, send a designated person to the board to just write those descriptions. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Minute out there.
What each piece that we kind of decided that they are. Okay, so we've got the brain, which is good for thinking, controls function, both true. I'm gonna add logic. I'm gonna add logic to brain. Okay, eyes, sight, perception. I'm also gonna add light. We think about light a lot when we come to eyes. Heart, treasure chest. There's a pun in there, very nice. Lungs, we've got breath and life.
Yeah.
Okay. Chest, confidence. Okay. I'm gonna add hunger, stomach. Arms, embrace, that's awesome. Hands, tools. I'm gonna put hold as well. Legs, powerful, love it. Feet, weight bearing, and then to this I'm gonna add walk. Okay, walk and run.
As you saw, phase two is all about defining the body parts. So we broke up into groups, I had them discuss, we came back together and made sure that at the end, we were all on the same page of kind of what our operational working definitions were for the different body parts. As the instructor, you can add in certain emphasis and keys that you want to as you go. But that's what's gonna set up phase three, which is going to be contextualization. In this phase, we are pointing out why the body matters and why all these different pieces come together. So on a team, you've got a bunch of different roles, role identification, but it works together in a body, and that's super important. People are unique. So this is just a setup. In the example that you're gonna see, it's gonna be faith-based because I was working with my FCA leadership team, but this gives an example of how you can set up the contextualization to then set up the rest of phase 4, phase 5, and phase 6 of this activity.
The body's wonderful because it's been made by the Lord, and there's things about it that are incredibly practical. And then there's ways that we can think about the body in terms of the body of the church. So now that we've defined it, we've built our body, we've defined it, I'm going to contextualize this in terms of what we're doing with FCA, in terms of what we're doing with our faith. So I'm going to read from 1 Corinthians 12.
So phase 3 kind of flows into phase 4. And in phase 4, after we talked about, okay, the body has multiple parts, they're all super important, there's different gifts that each of us have different skills that we give to the team. Now, everybody's gonna break up into partners. And with their partners, they're gonna share their personal strengths, and then they're gonna share to their partner what they think their strength is. So at this point, people are discussing around the room, and each person has a pink sticky note and a blue sticky note. On the pink sticky note, I instructed everybody to write their name and their personal strength. And on the blue sticky note, I had them write their partner's name and the strength that they see in their partner. And then from there, I had everybody take the sticky notes and place them on the paper where they associate that with the body. So phase 4 is all about discussing and applying our strengths. So we all know that we're a part of the body. We all know that different parts of the body have different functions and different purposes. And so now we're going to self-reflect, and we're also going to encourage one another and be like, this is the strength I see in you. And then put that strength where we think of it visually and conceptually on the model that we created before. So you're going to see some clips of discussion and then people placing their sticky notes up on the model. In phase 5, we break down and just debrief where we're strong and where we're weak. So we have this visual representation of a bunch of sticky notes on the board, and you can see very clearly where we're strong as a group. And then there's other parts of the body that won't have sticky notes, and that might be where some of our weaknesses are and where we want to grow. So in this portion, I don't have actual clips from our discussion, but we talked about where is our group strong, where can we use our strengths together, where is our group weak, and where would we like to grow both personally and as a group. This is also a time in this phase 5 where I called out just a couple of the sticky notes on the board and had a couple people share either what they thought their strength was and why they put it with a specific part of the body. And then I pointed out some of the other ones, and I had someone else share why they put somebody else's strength there. So for example, we had somebody who put stabilization as a strength of theirs, and they put it by the shoulders because the shoulders are something that they view as bearing weight. And these go back to the definitions that we created in phase 2. So bringing it back and being like, okay, I associated the heart with empathy and trust, and I'm an empathetic person, so someone goes up and they put that on the heart. So this step of the group debrief is just really important of being like, where are we strong as a group? Where do we need to grow? And not only can we talk about it, but we can see it. We can see physically where sticky notes are, where sticky notes aren't. And then we can maybe adjust and apply from there. The last phase of this activity is remembering your why and just your closing reflections. So we want to anchor this activity to your bigger picture. So for us with FCA, we anchored it back to Jesus, because if Jesus isn't a part of what we're doing, then what we're doing doesn't really matter. But if you're bringing this to your team, you're bringing this to your sport, you're bringing this to your work, you want to tie it back into your why. And so what is your goal as a team? Do your strengths align with your why? And do your strengths align with where you're wanting to go, with where your goals are? And that's the main point, like at the end, to bring it back and be like, we all have strengths, we're all working together, that's great. But if we don't know what we're working for, how are we supposed to work together? If we don't have a goal, if we don't have that overarching why. So just reemphasize at the end that everybody's role is important. Everybody is unique in their gifts and their strengths and their weaknesses, but also we can grow as a group and we can grow individually. And this just gives us an outline and a model for maybe where our team needs to go next. So that is the group activity. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you're able to maybe apply it to your context. Yeah, have fun bodybuilding, guys.
I think that taking the overall concept and theme of the body and having many integral parts that work together, I can really see the parallels on a sports team in the ways that truly whenever there's one person missing or there's something not working to full capacity, the entire team feels it. I know, for an example, we have one of our teammates that isn't here all of the time, and she's super busy with clinicals and her studies, and whenever she's not here, you can feel it. And whenever she is here, you can also feel it because she carries such a big presence and energy. And so I think that seeing the visual of the body parts and then processing that if one wasn't there, the entire body would feel it, and the entire body would have to work harder, or it just wouldn't work the way full function. So I think that that's how I can relate.
I learned that sometimes we're better at recognizing other people's strengths rather than our own, so discussing our strengths and weaknesses with other people is a great way to learn more about yourself and your teammates.